As you've been trying to get into this startup mentality and start building a brand new product, what are some of the challenges you've run into? Maybe not technology, maybe it's just on the product side, but I'm kind of curious. What are the biggest hurdles that you've hit?
One of the biggest challenges I think that we've faced is understanding whether the product should be customer first or product first. And the way that I break these down between product first and customer first is think about something like Apple. Apple launches their iPhone. When they launched that, they told people, hey, this is what you're going to be using. You're going to love this. It's going to be a product that transforms your life. On the flip side, a product that is customer first, you look at something like Salesforce, they are saying to their customers, hey, what functionality do you need? What do you want us to build? And we'll create it for you. And that's how Salesforce gets all of these additional features, these integrations. And finding that balance was, and it has been over time, pretty challenging to say, do we want this product to tell people what to do, or do we want to listen to our customers and make sure it is fitting into their workflow and their existing process so we can get that organic adoption? It's a balance. I'd say where we are now is we are leaning much more heavily towards a sort of customer first product, just because of all of this research we're doing, all of this validation we are doing, and we are really listening to our customers and not pretending, hey, we know what's going to be best. I think being product first can work for certain products, but we've just really gravitated towards this idea of a customer first product, but it's taken some time to get there.
And this is a typical challenge when you're starting new products. Do you want to define the space you're in or have the users define it for you? If that's your biggest stumbling place, I'll be honest with you, you're on good foundations, because this is the start of every good product that we have out there. Whose voice are we listening to? Is it our idea or is it our customers' ideas? And figuring out which one is going to work best for the product that you're bringing to market is typically that hardest hurdle to find, and then eventually just drive through, right?
Another challenge that I will also touch on, because I think it's helpful for any first-time founders like myself or anyone else in the space who's building a product, is finding what you need to cut from the MVP is something also really challenging, because if you don't cut things, you're not going to be able to ship. But at the same time, you want that core functionality that's going to be really exciting to somebody, that's going to make them want to use it. And balancing that requires some really tough cuts, some things that you thought you could never imagine cutting from an MVP and that you'd have to launch with this. You sometimes have to throw away those features in order to ship it.
Getting an MVP out as fast as possible with the base level pieces that you need, and making sure that your customers agree with you. Those are some of the hardest conversations. Getting something tangible built in a short time frame has been something that I've used as kind of a tagline for my life, honestly, because if we're not delivering fast, it's hard to do, right? If it takes me 3 years to get an MVP out, that means it's probably not going to be as good as if I can get something in 3 months or something, just because at least then I got somebody logging in, feeling it, and playing with it. So I feel you on that one. The hardest part there too is that table stakes, the base level functionality that you had in your mind when you started this. It changes over a couple of months of doing that research and talking with folks and seeing what actually resonates and what doesn't. How much of it did you end up having to kind of just push to the side as you started this journey?
It's a very interesting question. I would say we have kept the high level features that we knew we wanted for the MVP, but what we had to cut are some of the individual functionality that falls under that. So for example, things like our client dashboard. We had one sort of idea going into that, what somebody would be able to do and what a client would be able to do in that dashboard. And then we had to cut sort of smaller things within that, things like utilizing artificial intelligence to populate a project timeline. Things like auto updating certain parts of the progress tracker based on a delayed project. So at MVP launch, it might have to be just sort of manual, like here's the due date, here's the new project completion date. Things like that had to get cut in order to maintain that core functionality, to be able to ship a product that we know people are going to love and people will be really excited about, but just won't have some of the bells and whistles there.
But yes, it's still on the road, and that's the key, right? Even though you cut out of the initial MVP, you just put it into a future phase or a future release. So we'll get to see it eventually.